Thank you.
This message is from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, with the support of MacArthur Foundation.
How much is it last bonus?
Madam, you know the stranger for where I did. 1,000 naira they too small. You add something.
Okay. When you finish with the work, I go add 200 naira with your money.
I agree. They make you not tell anybody for idea saying 1,200 for you.
I don't hear.
Why are they costing you?
Give me the wire, I beg.
Madam. What do you can do for our area?
Oga Frank, I'm alive spoil. Now I say make bullies call me connector for my neighbor side. I snap and not great connect me.
It be like say to go prison. They hungry the two of now.
Why go prison?
You for keeping stolen cables and you for buying it. It is an offense to vandalize power installations. The people will give you this wire. You know where they get them. And you won't buy them. You know whether or not still they go steal them.
Not true.
You know no say that the people where they steal DEPA cables and destroying power installation. Now they make way lights not the day sometimes.
You mean that?
As a consumer, it is your duty to immediately report any tampering or vandalization of power installations. If you keep quiet, now all of us go suffer.
This message is from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, with the support of MacArthur Foundation.
Good morning to you. It's Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. And yes, you're also live on TV and social media. It's the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, our FCCPC Hour, brought to you by FCCPC, of course, and supported by MacArthur Foundation. And of course, we know FCCPC deals with other consumer related issues, but in this particular program, we focus only on electricity. Because, of course, electricity is so important. My name is Harira Siswaila, and I have here with me Bridget Edson from FCCPC. Good morning.
Good morning, and hello, everyone.
All right. On every episode of the program, we always have consumers calling. Okay? We did this. Are we supposed to do it? Or what exactly do we have distribution companies for? What exactly should be their responsibilities? How should they discharge its responsibilities? Because we find out that most consumers tend, probably because of the need for electricity, they go out of their way to even perform the duties and obligations of distribution companies. And that is why today we still want to talk about what distribution companies should do, their responsibilities, what they are mandated to do, so we can have that difference and consumers would understand that this particular duty is for the discos, and this is where I as a consumer should call them in whenever I have any electrical issues. So this is what we want to talk about today. And of course, most importantly, we want to get your feedback, because we'd always open phone lines and they will tell you, tell us what you've learned, or tell us what you've learned, and we'll still have a lot of people asking questions. It's good to ask questions, but to ensure that this program has had not just a wide reach, but an effective reach. We want to understand what you have learned so far. Have you applied it? Did you engage them? And if you did, what was the feedback you got? But that would be when we open phone lines virtually. So I'll allow Bridget take it up from here, the duties and responsibilities of this course.
Thank you very much. Like Harira has rightly pointed out, even most of the time, we really find it not pleasant as a consumer, protection agency. Yeah. Do you understand that consumers will be carrying out certain responsibilities or duties that actually is that of the distribution company? So we really want to clearly, provide some of these responsibilities and obligations of the distribution company, so that even you as consumers of electricity services will know that some of the responsibility that you've been carrying out is not really yours. So we're talking to actually the distribution companies and to you even as consumers, so that you begin to hold them accountable, accountable for their own duties. It's really not a pleasant thing that every time we come here, consumers will be calling to ask us whether it is their responsibility to fix any of the equipment belonging to the distribution company or not. And let's also understand clearly today that certain responsibilities you have been carrying out as electricity consumers are not actually yours. it is not your responsibility to carry out any form of maintenance, of the distribution company. Maintenance responsibility is that of the distribution company, because to start with, consumers don't even have the technical know-how of carrying out certain responsibility that belongs to the distribution company. It is the distribution company that even knows the entire coverage of their area.
Yeah.
It is the distribution company that even knows when what is supposed to be, certain equipment, maintenance are supposed to be carried out on certain equipment. And we've even talked about the responsibilities of the distribution company to even inform us as consumers when there's going to be any form of interruption of supply, and as it should be as a result of maintenance, that the distribution schedule maintenance that the distribution company has. And that maintenance, when we talk about even maintenance and of their operations, maintenance will even include certain repairs of some of this equipment. All these transformers that consumers will call us and tell us that they've been asked to contribute money in their areas to carry out a repair, or even sometimes a replacement of an equipment like the transformer, or it's not you understand, it's not the responsibility of the consumer. So it is that of the distribution company to carry out maintenance in their franchise area. So let us understand, let us also know, so that at every given point, we as electricity consumers will begin to demand and insist on the distribution company to carry out certain responsibility that is being transferred to us. Even if there's a faulty equipment of the distribution company, your own responsibility as a consumer is to inform the distribution company. Remember that we've always said on this platform that when you want to make any complaint, when you want to make any presentation to the distribution company, ensure that you do that in writing. Let's also always ensure that complaints or whatever it is, that any dealings, most especially that we want to have with the distribution company, is done in black and white, so that we understand ourselves, so that we also have we'll have our acknowledged copy of such complaints in case they fail to carry out, to do the needful. At least we have an evidence to show to our regulators that, this is the step we have taken, and then the distribution company really fail to carry out certain responsibility. Another responsibility of the distribution company is that of metering. In as much as there are different programs when it comes to metering, and we've said it time with our number that some of the programs that the federal government has introduced when it comes to metering is just to close the metering gap. But the responsibility of metering consumers remains that of the distribution company. And it is because of a whole lot of issues that is in the electricity sector that consumers most of the time will have to even do certain things when it has to do with metering. Because when consumers are complaining about outrageous billing, overbilling, and then consumers do not want to wait for when the distribution company is able to meter them, then we always advise consumers to, key into the programs that is available under metering. Some of the programs, like we all know, is Meter Asset Providers, which is the MAP. And for us, even as a commission, what we stand for is even adherence, even on the regulation around some of these programs that are introduced, like the MAP program. When it comes to that MAP program, we expect the distribution company to strictly adhere to the regulation, which provides that when consumers, and then first of all, that they do not even receive money or collect money from consumers when the meters are not on ground. Because we found out that most of the distribution company will even go ahead. One of the distribution company we visited during one of our intervention program, we realized that they were even taking money from consumers even without the availability of the meter. So the strict adherence to the rules and regulation is what the commission stands for. Because first of all, it is even the responsibility of the distribution company to meter consumers without even transferring any form of burden for consumers to pay upfront. Though we know that there's supposed to be a reimbursement of the payments the consumers make, But first of all, let's even understand as distribution company that it is not even the responsibility of the consumers to even, meter themselves or to pay for meter. So even when consumers pay for meter, when they access meters through the meter asset providers, we expect strict adherence to the rules and regulation, which provide that if a consumer pays for a meter, the consumer should be metered within 10 working days. Because we at the FCCPC, we don't expect anything less than adherence to the regulations. Because, like we've always said on this platform, that the electricity industry is the one that nothing happens without a regulation. So strict adherence to regulation is what the commission stands for. And another thing is billing. Is the distribution company, because some of these the responsibilities and the duties of the distribution company, we are saying you won't believe it, that sometimes the distribution company fail to carry out some of the, like when it comes to billing. I remember even during one of our intervention program, at least a consumer came to us and complained about him not being billed for several months. At that I even found, it was somehow, I don't even know how to describe it, because I can't even imagine a business that will not even want to bill a customer for the services they have provided for. But we found out. So it is actually their responsibility to bill consumers accurately on the consumer's consumption. They have that responsibility to bill them, because we found out that they didn't even bill the consumer for nearly 3 or 4 months. Yet they came and disconnected the consumer.
Oh.
So how do you expect the consumer to function? And then to make matters worse, we even found out that on their system, it is a different thing for them not to even distribute or to distribute the bills to consumers. And it's another thing for them to even bill the consumer. We found out that in the system, because they came with their system during our intervention program, the consumer was actually not billed because there was no information to provide that the consumer was billed. So it is your responsibility and duty, or duty rather, to bill consumers accurately based on their consumption and based on the regulation that guides billing. Because there's a regulation to that effect. Regulation, when it comes to billing, there are components that makes up a consumer's bill. And, the capping, the tariff, and then the value added tax. These are the components that consumers should look out for in their bills, as in consumers who are unmetered. These are the things that are supposed to make up your bills. And then the distribution company, that it is your responsibility to bill, and to build your, and one very important thing that consumers also need to know, the electricity industry is the one that has, I needed to even say, you have the people who generate, you have the people who transmit. So the distribution company, are the ones that are responsible for distributing this supply. That's why we deal with them, because that's where there's failure of service. It is with it, because the distribution company will actually get this supply from the transmission grid and then distributes the supply, the electricity, to businesses or industries. So consumers will also know, because when there are issues, most of the time you have dealings. The consumers actually have dealings with the distribution company, because it is their responsibility to get us this supply to our various homes, businesses or industries, or wherever we require this electricity. It is the responsibility of the distribution company to do so for us as consumers. And I really need to stress certain points when it comes to tariff and these components that makes up our bill. I realize that even a lot of people don't really, you remember when we
talked about
when we wanted to get feedback from consumers, we realized that still, in spite of the fact that there's no week we don't even make mention of capping and tariff, consumers really don't know. As a way of emphasis, let's know that the components that makes up our bill, the components are the cap, the tariff, in addition with the value added tax. And when we talk about the cap, is something that is given to us, and we really need to be responsible enough to run some checks. We should be able to know the components in our bills, for especially even the unmetered consumer, because the unmetered consumers are the ones that usually will complain about paying for that. Let's know our capping. When we know our capping, we'll be able to multiply it with the tariff, and then we now know what, because we now know what is our bill. We now know, as in, we know that we are billed in line with the regulation, and if there's any form of clearance that we need to that effect, we'll be able to reach out to the nearest business unit that is serving us, and then we can ask questions on whatever it is, that we're not clarified with. As a way of emphasis, let me also talk about the tariff classes we have. We have Band A. And the essence of telling you this tariff is for you to also, be, observing whether you are getting this kind of, the kind of supply, you are getting the required hours of supply that you are expected to get based on the tariff you are assigned. When we have 5 classes, we have Band A, and Band A is the one that we're expected to get a minimum supply of 20 hours on a daily basis. And when we're assigned on Band B, we're expected to get a minimum supply of 16 hours on a daily basis. And let me also say that the supply we're expected to get is the cumulative supply of electricity on a daily basis. And for example, if you are given, let's say you're expected to get 20 hours and then you get 8 hours, maybe a stretch of 8 hours from morning, and then maybe the light is taken in the afternoon, and then the light is brought back at night. So it's the cumulative. It's not something that you must have it on a stretch, so that we understand. So like I said, if you are placed on tariff Band A, you are expected to get a minimum supply of 20 hours on a daily basis. And if you are placed on tariff Band B, you are expected to get a minimum supply of 16 hours on a daily basis. So if you are placed on tariff Band C, you are expected to get a minimum supply of 12 hours on a daily basis. And if you are placed on tariff Band D, you are expected to get a minimum supply of 8 hours on a daily basis. And the E class is the one that you're expected to get a minimum supply of 4 hours. I don't know whether I made mention of the fact that somebody, when she saw our educational materials when we went for one of our intervention programs, she said, she drew my attention that we don't belong to any of these classes. I said, come. I was, she said, truly. She mentioned that last week. Because she was asking me for explanation, that how can I explain the fact that they've not had supply for over 2 weeks. So that how can I explain this? So, it's some of those things. When you are aware, you understand, you'll be able to ask questions. So, when she even talked about, when she drew my attention, I was like, I had to also, engage with the distribution company. Thankfully, that was during an intervention program, because it doesn't really make sense. And she was really saying something, because how are you going to really, since it's a minimum supply, on a daily basis, is a supply that you're supposed to get on a daily basis. And then here you are, for 2 weeks, you've not had supply. So she was actually right. And these are the kind of questions, these are the kind of things that we want consumers to begin to engage with the distribution company. For example, you are placed on Band A, and then the supply you are getting is out of Band E. There's a buffer to that effect. You are expected to be downgraded to the hours of supply the distribution company is able to provide. Even though as consumers, nobody really wants to be getting 4 hours. We all want to be getting 24 hours supply on a daily basis. But where the distribution company is unable to meet up, they are obligated to do the needful. And what they are expected to do is to actually downgrade to the kind of services they are able to provide. Because what the Commission always advocate for in this sector, and even generally for consumers, even transparency. Let the businesses deal transparently with with consumers. You are the one who said to us that this is how the kind of services you will be able to give to us. These are the required number of hours of supply you'll be able to give to us, and you placed us. Remember that the consumers didn't even have a choice to make when it comes to them being assigned on different classes. They were assigned by the distribution company, so based on their own assessment. Therefore, it behoves on the distribution company to ensure that they meet up with the supply of electricity. Okay? So let's remember very well that when it comes to billing, these are the components. These are our expectations. Our expectations, rather, as consumers, that they should be able to meet up with what they have promised. If there are challenges, let them communicate those challenges to us so that we will know. And then they should be ready to provide compensation. Let me add it that way. Okay, so, and very important, the distribution company also have a duty of customer service. This is something that is very, very serious and something that is lacking very of the time. Most of the distribution company cannot even do not provide good customer service to consumers, and customer service requires a whole lot. It requires you communicating with your consumers. It requires you even informing them about certain things. You want to carry out maintenance, you have a responsibility as a you have a responsibility to your customers, to provide them with information so that it will prepare them. If you want to carry out maintenance, you should be able to tell these consumers, tell them in line with the regulation that you're supposed to give them 3 days notice prior to when you want to carry out, this maintenance, so that the consumers, if the consumer will need to really get fuel, that they will fuel their generator, they will do so, instead of just keeping them, leaving them without any form of information. All the consumer will just wake up and just realize that there's no supply. Where you think that the supply is just going to be for an hour, but before you open your eye, before you know it, the supply lingers within the whole week. It's sometimes these are certain experiences that we also have with the distribution company here in Abuja. I say it, to them everywhere I have the opportunity to say it. Once there is rain in Abuja, they will be tracing faults. You understand? And they trace the faults till thy kingdom come. It's unfair. You understand? One of the things that we will continue to advocate as a commission is for them to invest technologically. Let them do whatever it is that they can do to ensure that even if you are having any challenge, because we don't need to even reach out to you before you tell us. And even some of the customer care reps makes it worse, that consumers will even go to make complaints, and then the distribution company will be unwilling. We've gotten complaints from consumers that the distribution company adamantly refused to accept complaints from consumers. And apart from even mixing itself with their responsibility of customer care to the consumers, they have a responsibility. It's one electricity consumer right, complaints resolution. It is they have a duty to consumers to resolve consumers' complaints. Consumers have a right to make complaints. Consumers have the right to express any form of dissatisfaction they have towards the services of electricity. And they have the right to complain on any electricity issue for that matter. So it is within the rights, and it is also an obligation of the distribution company to receive and resolve electricity complaints. Because like we've always said it, even if consumers, that's why we've emphasized that the first point of call to the consumers when they have any form of dissatisfaction is the distribution company. What the commission actually does is to mandate them to resolve the complaint in line with regulation. So it is their duty. It is their duty to actually, when consumers complain to them. It's a different thing if the consumer is dissatisfied with the outcome of the resolution. But first of all, it is the duty of the distribution company to actually resolve this complaint that consumers are making. So you can see that when the issue of customer care is really very serious, customer service, it cuts across anything that the consumer is dissatisfied with. And it is, when it comes to even the customer service, it is where consumers are even making complaints, that they file a complaint concerning a transformer. We've seen complaints that consumers will, bring to us, that they've complained about a faulty transformer that has been on the complaint has been there for years. Let me even, some consumers have had to complain to us about faulty transformers that has taken over 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, and they are not getting any form of communication with the distribution company. It's failure on the part of customer service. One of the things that the distribution company is supposed to do at all times is to communicate with the consumer. I tell them that even when you are unable to, provide solution, but because you are having a communication with the consumer will even be okay and feel like you are doing something, in spite of the fact that there is no solution. Let me say there's no resolution, rather, because if you are talking to the consumer, at least you'll be telling the consumer that this is it. You understand?
Giving them hope that eventually you would have power supply.
But they will not even, poor customer service, they will not even respond to the complaints, first of all. They will not even, do you understand? No acknowledgement. You are the service provider, you are there to provide this service.
And if consumers are not there, then the
business will not be there. And another important thing that the distribution company also, their role or responsibility or obligation, duty, is they have the responsibility of complying to the regulation. Do you understand? Because like I said earlier, the electricity sector is one that nothing happens in the sector without regulation. It's highly regulated. So they have a duty of complying with the regulation, all the regulations of the sector, and also complying, that's regulation that is provided by or stipulated by the direct sector regulator, which is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and also to obey the FCCPA, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. Very important to the distribution company. You understand? Because for us at the commission, what we stand for is adhering to the rules, complying with the rules and regulation. If the regulation provider you should meter the consumer within 10 working days, so be it. It should be, because there won't be any problem. All the regulations that is there, comply with the regulation on network investment. One of the things that the distribution company has even failed to do is even communicating certain, regulation that is out there. They have a duty. For example, if they are adhering to this regulation, these regulations are there. You take, for an example, the regulation on network investment. Even when a consumer is complaining about a faulty transformer, that is your responsibility to repair. I have to even pick this one after the other. We've talked about them complying with the regulation. So if a consumer is even complaining about a faulty transformer, that is your responsibility to carry out repairs. If, for example, that the commission, the company is not buoyant enough to carry out the repair at this point in time, and then the consumer is even willing to carry out the repair, why don't you activate the network investment? Do you understand the regulation on network investment?
Yeah. Educate consumers
Let
about that.
Let the consumers know that if they invest, because anybody who invests, simple and logic, if you invest in a business, you expect return on investment. So, but most of the time, the distribution company acts as if, but I think that most of the time, maybe it's just the personality involved. I wouldn't really know. But for us as a commission, we're not dealing with individuals anyway. We're dealing with the company. you activate, there's a provision so that when the consumers, decide to contribute money or raise money to invest, to carry out these repairs or to carry out this replacement on your behalf, the consumer should be able to have something to hold on to. Benefits of their investment, let them have something. It's not something that you compel the consumers to carry out repairs or carry out a replacement on your own responsibility, on your own duty, and the consumer will not get anything. So consumers were also talking to you. Know that there's an investment, there's a regulation, or is there an order? Either way, for us, we know that there's a provision. There's a provision for you to invest in network areas that is expected that you will get a return on that investment. But I must state that so that we know, if we carry out any form of investment without informing the distribution company, that will usually be seen by the distribution company as a donation. So that's why if there is because this investment rather that most consumers do without getting any form of return on investment, usually they do them verbally, but when you complain, it happens when you complain to the distribution company verbally. But if you document your complaint, you file your complaint with the distribution company and get acknowledged copy, at least that will show that you actually complained, you actually took a step, in reaching out to the distribution company concerning the faulty equipment you are complaining about. Don't do it blindly. Don't do it without documenting it. Please ensure that at the point you are having faulty equipment, any faults, inform distribution company in writing, get acknowledged copy, so that will now tell the starting point of the agreement that you're supposed to have to activate the investment in network area regulation, because there has to be an agreement. And the importance of the agreement is that when you enter into an agreement of bringing money to carry out a repair or replacement, you will know, based on the agreement, you will know when the light is connected, you will know the period upon which maybe the credit, the equivalent of your supply, will be given back to you. You know when it will end. For example, maybe if you invest 5 million naira in a particular network, it is expected that you will get back that 5 million naira in credit. A lot of times consumers will complain that, they are the ones who fix this transformer. Immediately after fixing the transformer, they've been bringing bills. Do you understand? If you do it in black and white, it will show when they will start. When you start recouping your investment, the period you are going to enjoy light without paying for it. And then you will know when it will end. Everything should be done transparently. Actually,
Thank you so much. You've really spoken a lot. And the truth remains, if not because of FCCPC as a commission and this particular program, there are a lot of things that consumers should know about electricity, like the return on investments, investing in network areas, their tariff band classification, and a lot of information that consumers don't know about except through this program. And we really have to appreciate FCCPC and of course MacArthur Foundation. This program is also supported by MacArthur Foundation. Well, if you are just joining us, this is Human Rights Radio and Television, and you're currently listening to FCCPC Hour, a program by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. And my name is Harira Ismail, and I have here with me Bridget Etim. We have been talking about the obligations, the duties, the mandates of distribution companies. It's very important that consumers know about this, because on every episode of the program, we usually have one consumer that would call and say, we contributed money to repair transformers. We've waited for months and years. The transformer was not repaired. And we need this for our businesses. We need this for our households. We contributed money and then we repaired this. Is it our responsibility And even though we say it's not their responsibility, they say, okay, but we can't stay in darkness. Why are the discos not doing the right thing? So this is like a wake-up call to the discos, and also to remind them of their duties and their responsibilities. So while consumers are doing theirs, you would also do yours, because without electricity consumers, of course, you would not be there. You are there for them. So why don't you serve them rightly? And yes, you want to be part of this program, right? You want to call in and you want to send in your messages. Pick up your phone and dial 090-9930-1011. 090-9930-1011. And please, when you call into the program, kindly move away from your radio sets. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Madam Arira too.
Thank you so much, sir. What's your name and where are you?
And good morning, Mrs. Bridget. I'm calling from Adela. Please, I don't want to mention my name because of security reasons, please.
Okay.
But I'm calling from Adela.
Okay.
Please, like how this bank tariff, all you explained. For a layman, most of us will don't understand. Please, I'm advising the commission to say clearly to the NDC that they should go to almost every house, tell them, okay, this tariff we are using, this band we are using, so that we are able to challenge them ahead. So that's number one. And number two is that if you go to, especially in Zuma headquarters here, if you go for a problem, you go to customer here, they will be directing that you go to that table and go to another table. The funny aspect of it is that they will attack those women, customers, most of them will be bring makeup. And you online too, they will not answer to you. When you talk, they will say, what do you need? Please, I think that issue shall be addressed. I think the Fccpc has to do something. Most especially Madela Duma station here, please. Easier with the ADC Madela here.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's poor customer service and also proper awareness of tariff bands. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes,
Hello.
good morning. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Hassan. I'm calling from Wari.
Oh, I didn't get your name and your location. Speak louder, please, so we can all hear you.
My name is Hassan. Calling from Wari.
Okay, go on.
I have about to do the upgrade and upgrade.
Okay, see, please. Sorry, can you hear me? I suggest you end the call and call back because I'm struggling to hear you, please. And we really need to get your contribution. It's important. I'm still struggling to hear you. Or send a message on WhatsApp. Send a text message. Okay, let me call the number for text message. 07025999903. 07025999903. Please, you can send a text message since we are struggling to get you on phone call. Hello, good morning. Sorry, let me take. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What is your name and where are you calling from? Switch off your radio, please.
Yeah, I'll switch off my radio.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Comrade Solomon by name. I'm calling from Abu.
All right, please go on, Comrade Solomon.
Okay, please, actually, like the person that called before the last caller called, he has already said what I want to say, but I want to contribute some things.
Okay.
You know, like Abu here, where we are saying is Abu Primary by Jesus as the name. Sometimes when they light, we are paying like something thousand to something thousand in our bill. We are not using meter. Actually, we are few here. Using about 4 people using it. But now our bill is about 90-something thousand we are paying. And if we pay, sometimes we will pay 70,000 naira. If we contribute up to 70,000 naira, when they come, they say if we do not clear our bill, they will cut the light. Is it supposed to be like that, please?
Okay, Comrade Solomon, sorry about that. Please just stay tuned. When we answer questions, we'll answer your question too. Sorry about that. Please just stay tuned. When we begin to answer a question, we'll take yours too. you.
All right, thank you.
So you can end the call. Please, you said you wanted to add something.
Okay, I actually wanted to add because it's very important. This is something that complaints we usually get. The distribution company is responsible for the safety and security of their infrastructure, covering their network area. Because I remember in one of the program we had, one of the distribution company was even talking about compelling the consumers, to to provide
security.
Not really to provide security, to contribute money for any infrastructure that is vandalized in their environment. We've talked to consumers about the fact that if they see any form of illegal activity, happening to any infrastructure, they have a responsibility to report. But the responsibility of, ensuring safety and protection of any infrastructure or equipment belonging to the distribution company is that of the distribution company. We've gone for an inspection and found out that in the substation that was, built by the distribution company, even ordinary padlock was not provided. You understand? So if such an equipment is vandalized, you will not come and hold a consumer responsible. No. You have a responsibility to provide the security of all your equipment. And of course, like we said, that the consumers also have a duty to ensure that if they see any form of illegal activity happening they should report such. And then, because those equipment actually are there also to serve consumers. But this is a business. The business should be able to provide the maximum protection of their infrastructure or equipment. And even when it comes, and then to even also ensure safety standards is very important. You don't just, leave the equipment, anyhow. You need to do what is expected of you. The technical aspect you're supposed to cover. And even when there are issues that has to do with safety, the distribution company have a responsibility to ensure that they swiftly respond to calls by consumers when such things are happening. And then, like we've said earlier, that they need to even invest technologically so that when there is anything that has to do with safety, they will be prompted by such technology. Some of the distribution company have even told us that they have systems, they have technology that's able to show them when a transformer is faulty, when there are issues with certain equipment. So that's what the commission is advocating, that they should heavily invest in their technology so that a whole lot of issues that is surrounding even safety and provision of good services will be adhered to based on the regulation.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, and still talking about technology, you have AI tools to help you. You have AI apps to help you. You have digital skills to help you. So there are some complaints that we naturally get, and to be honest, these schools, we shouldn't be getting them, especially in this digital age. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please speak louder so we can hear you. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abdul. I'm calling from Beirut.
All right, Abdul, please go on.
I want to know how long the meter will last.
Okay, how long meter will last? Okay, thank you, Abdul. We're going to answer your question when we begin to answer questions. Okay, thank you, Abdul. All right, still 09099301011. Please let's answer the questions we have.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I didn't really get the name of the first caller, but at least I got his question. He talked about two issues. He talked about he said we should talk to the discos about them educating the consumers about their tariff classes.
Yes.
But I'm aware that even it was on this platform that it was advocated for some years ago that our tariff and caps should be provided on our billings. That I have cited, you understand, in most of the billing complaints that has come to the commission. They are usually stated on the bills. And then apart from it even being stated, if you don't even understand, the distribution company has a responsibility of explaining where the tariff is and the cap. And then we have also said, we have even tried to, I remember there was a time we also asked consumers to tell us whether they are aware of their tariff on their provided for on their bills. So what we are trying to say, even for us as consumers, we have a responsibility of visiting the nearest business unit, assuming it is not even provided, but I've cited all these tariff and caps on our bills, but we can still visit where we are not clear. Let's engage the distribution company to provide us, to explain these caps and tariffs for us. You understand? You remember we have even asked people on this platform to tell us whether they know their tariff classes. So you have a responsibility as a consumer to know your tariff class. So please, we are still giving this assignment to consumers. Next week when we come, we want to know your tariff class, we want to know your caps. Why we're saying this is for you to, if you don't even know it on your bill, take your bill to the nearest business unit and ask them, or you can use their online platform to ask them to really, show you where your tariff class are placed, are written in the bills that they give to you. Engage them. But for us as a commission, we'll continue to tell you at every point in time that these are the tariff classes. So it is another thing for you to know, because I won't be able to tell you the class you are assigned. Yes. But you'll be able to, if you engage with the distribution company, they'll be able to tell you a particular class you are assigned. And then the issue of bad customer service, is what we talked about. And for the commission will continue to engage with the distribution company to ensure that you get good customer service. And because you are there, without the consumers are the reason why the business is even operates, So it behoves on the business to ensure that they improve on their customer service. This is a serious complaint. It has always been bad customer care everywhere we go. And the issues of upgrade, the commission will take it as a feedback. I know that even in the course of our intervention program, this meter upgrade, it shouldn't really take so much time, but we'll engage with the distribution company to ensure that clearance is provided when it comes to this meter upgrade. Let's the consumers understand the process. Let everything just be made clear. Let there be transparency in the meter upgrade, process. Consumers really need to know, and the commission will engage with the distribution company to that effect. And the consumer who also called and complain about the bills that the distribution company will just they give them bills anyhow. I'm sure you're trying to complain about outrageous billing. Well, you have a right to complain when it comes to bills that that appears too much when it appears that you are overbilled. You can write a complaint. But what I want to also address is the issue of you being disconnected. It is when a consumer has not even made any payment that the consumer should be disconnected. And there should be, you understand, there's what we call illegal disconnection. Consumers shouldn't be disconnected illegally. Before a consumer will be disconnected, the consumer needs to be informed. It is not when a consumer is paying his or her bill. For example, if you are given a bill and you are able to pay something out of the bill, the consumer shouldn't be disconnected. So I think that you need to really write a complaint to the distribution company and then give them the 15 working days that they are supposed to address such complaints that you have on overbilling. And if after they address the complaints and it appears it's satisfactory to you, you can actually escalate this complaint. And again, you should also know that once you file a complaint, whether with the distribution company or even the commission, the distribution company does not have any rights again to come and disconnect you until the issue has been addressed, and then maybe you are still found wanting. Otherwise, they don't have any right to disconnect you. And the Abdul from Dede is asking how long. I think you are asking of the lifespan of a meter. That I'm not quite sure. So, but I think if you engage with us after this program, be able to, find out from the distribution company. But one thing I'm sure is that even if once you are a metered consumer, you remain metered forever. Do you understand? You remain metered. Once they've metered you, you will continue to be a metered consumer. Nothing will remove you from being a metered consumer to an unmetered consumer. So have that at the back of your mind. So if the meter is faulty, it is the distribution company's responsibility to, replace that faulty meter. And it is supposed to be done within 48 hours. So let's understand that. And I also want to give you our platform where you can continue with this, interaction. We have, if you want to interact with us on our social media platform, it's just the same for X, which is Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook. It's at Fccpc Nigeria. At Fccpc Nigeria, you'll be able to interact with the commission. And then if you want to send us a complaint, you can do that by using our email address, which is contact@fccpc.gov.ng. contact@fccpc.gov.ng. If you want to also, we have a dedicated electricity phone number that you can send us WhatsApp and send us text message, or you can even call us to make further inquiries. It's 081 1987 7785. 081 1987 7785. And if you need to physically file your complaints with us here in Abuja, our office is located at number 23 Jimmy Carter Street, Asokoro. Our office is located at number 23 Jimmy Carter Street, Asokoro.
All right, thank you so much, Bridget Etin from Fccpc. For the many calls we are still having, sorry we can't take them. Feel free to send the message on FCCPC's platform. Feel free to send email address. Feel free to send a message on the email address, and also feel free to call the dedicated electricity phone number. All right, let's just take one more call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yes, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Ma?
What is your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Emmanuel AJ.
All right, go on, Emmanuel.
Yes, I'm calling you from Ado.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an issue with Africa. This man come to my phone. I complained to him. He gave me bill of just 3 days. The 4th days, he come to cut my light. I complained to him that you just bring the bill. I have to organize these people to pay your money for you. Just give us time. He say that he will not give me time now, that he want to cut disconnected me now. That it's not because of the current bill that he want to disconnect me. That is for Assam bill. That is what he want to disconnect me. Disconnected me. I say, how can I don't do like that? You just bring this thing. He forgive me notice that I want to disconnect my light because of the Assam bill. But it's not like that. You just come today now, just bring me just for 3 days. The 4th days, you want to cut light. He say he will disconnect the light. Before I know, he send his boys to go up and go and disconnect the light. You now disconnect the light. Maybe over, let me say, 1 week and day now.
All right, that's your complaint, right? Your radio is
okay, sorry.
Okay, well,
that is my complaint.
All right, so we'll address that. Thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry about your experience, Mr. Emmanuel. We have attempted to respond to issues that have to do with disconnection. Before a disconnection is going to be carried out on your premises, it is expected that you are notified. You understand? You are notified in writing. You are notified and given given 10 days. I think the new customer protection regulation is actually 12 days. You are expected to be notified. You understand? So I think you need to write a complaint in respect of that. You are not supposed to be illegally disconnected. If illegal disconnection is when you are not given any form of notice. And now you are supposed to be notified in writing concerning a planned disconnection of your premises. So, Mr. Emmanuel, you can escalate your complaint so that the commission will also look into it. But first of all, I think you can still engage with them in writing concerning the illegal disconnection. But if you are finding trouble with that, you can bring your complaint to the commission so that the commission will provide intervention.
Right, that would be our last call for today. Still Fccpc Hour on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We appreciate you for calling. We appreciate your contributions and we appreciate your complaints. Please direct further complaints, further contributions, and even further feedback to the numbers shared earlier. And you can also visit FCCPC physically or share your complaints via the social media handles or email address. And we hope that you will definitely get redress for your complaint. My name is Harira Ismail, and with me is Bridget Etim. To join us next week Monday, same time, same station. Until then, have a beautiful day.
Give a mic. And I don't say sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Mic, sir. Mic.
Any man where they do parade, you see military people, uniform people, security people, and sports people, either for gym or outside. Then they get endurance. They know they quick tire for running.
So when they come jump and see way, now only talk is have you talk. They no go fit. You go here it to say now when I deal with so.
Yes, sir. So after I can't go back. That very day I follow them go back. So we book flight for me. I can't go Lagos. I meet them for house, but in time he say no get chance. So in the Bayelsa.
But he dey house.
He dey house. So as I just come, instead they go welcome me. They tell me say, "Ma Jolan for mine say, you know beg me, ma come home." That I came on my own, that whatever I see I should take it, that he has been telling me that I am not his responsibility. This flight when me carry the pepper for body. Say why me I suppose use flight. I did be in there. No be flight for you.
Na moto.
I just use that one.
Okada.
Yes, I just use that one. I just use that one and laugh because now that kind of person him be. So after some time, that same month, he still continue this thing. When they give us money for food.
But you know, can't they beat you again, Abi?
No, that period, you not touch me again because I don't hear bone. So I can't.
Okay, your belly long.
Yes, sir. I don't hear bone that time. So after I come.
Now for Barakuna they live.
Yes, sir.
So all this while when they beat you. Barak women they aware say they beat you.
No, they know they are aware.
Why? You know they let them know.
No, I don't let them know.
Any woman where her husband they beat him, no keep quiet. No be shameful thing. If he kill you one day, dead body do no they make statement. He give you wait. Witnesses don't they? So continue. Finally, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. So the last one we do after I come, when finally accept the picking. The last one we can't do. I come out for 6 months. You can't tell me my.
He beat you again?
No, he said he don't marry another wife. See, and the girl no go want my day around. That I should pack my things.
That one way been they hide from you. One of them.
So. I mean, I know as in time he say ma go. I tell her say me and that woman go stay the house. I know they go anywhere. So you can't use air police threatening me. Say they go control my things. Come out. Everybody go disgrace me. Say ma they go. Now I can't.
Any man where disgrace his wife, now himself and his children he disgrace. You for tell us say make them can't disgrace you. Continue.
So, as
Yes, Ogaraya. Continue.
As the threat come too much, now come out with the children. So throughout that period, now me just dey take care of the children. I can't find work. I can't enroll my son for school. He can't come back again. Can't dey beg. This one, he beg where with pastors. He use plenty people beg. Even
And you agree follow and go back.
I can't go back. I can't say this one at the last time.
The pastors where they beg if to say that their daughter, therefore agree. What kind of selfishness is that? Go and pray about it.
So after I can't go back this last time, I no even reach 1 week. You can't go report me. And I remember me and Nan go laugh from house. You go chop. You go outside, go dey tell people say that useless woman just that she no do anything and never eat since morning. You go just dey talk different things about me.
It dey chop.
Yes, sir.
And it dey chop.
Yes, sir.
No. It dey chop. It dey chop.
Chop food.
It dey chop. It dey chop food.
Yes, I dey chop food.
And it dey chop.
Yes, I dey chop.
And you dey agree for am.
I go do now.
But body no be wood. So it dey chop food and it dey chop.
Yes, sir.
Cause I call the provost, the Air Force provost, make we hear from him. After you chop food finish, you go chop. Come go outside, they talk say, you know chop. Make you and discuss. Sit down. The chop well. Not impressive. Now the provost you dey call.
Yes, sir. First ringing and pick am.
Okay, you know what you go do, my dear.
Sir.
You go come back tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
We go continue from where we stop.
Okay, sir.
That time we go call the provost and we go call squadron leader
Abashi.
Abashi.
Yes, sir.
No,